Hi, this is Jacques Taylor, and you're listening to Jacques Talk. This is a podcast where I talk about the Cowboys, the team I've covered as a beat writer, columnist, TV insider, and radio host for 28 years. I'll also talk about the NFL and the things I love, working out, streaming, food, and all things down. Welcome to Jacques Talk, where sports is fluid. What's true today might not be true an hour, a day, or a month from now. I'm going to give you the truth straight, no chaser. Glad to have you aboard. Let's get it. Welcome to episode 64 of Jacques Talk. I hope you guys are prepared to be entertained and dazzled for the next hour or so as me and Big Joe in the Big Rig talk to Clarence Hill Jr. of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, go through some of Micah Parsons' comments about his first public comments since the Cowboys' embarrassing loss to Green Bay in the playoffs, and talk a little bit about my love for teaching. But first, though, we got some housekeeping as usual. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter at JJT, journalist. If you think you follow me on Twitter, you probably don't because my account got deleted. So make sure you follow me on Twitter. You can always watch the show at Jacques Talk on YouTube. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Got some information to give you about that in a minute. You can hit us on IG at The Real Jacques Talk. Hey, what's up, dog? How you rolling this morning?
It's all good. It's all good. Ready to rock and roll. Ready to rock and roll.
All right.
Who number 64?
Now your boy.
Who's number 64?
Hacksaw Reynolds.
Great minds think alike. That's exactly the 64 that I have.
All right. That's cool.
There you go.
It's the only 64 that came to mind.
Yeah.
Really.
Sure.
Now check this out. I'm trying to make Valentine's easy for y'all, okay? Some of y'all got a problem with gifts, what to give, what to get, how much. I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm giving away 2 tickets to the Mavs game, Valentine's night against the Spurs. It really don't get no better than that, okay? You ain't got to think about what to do, what to go, where to go, all right? All you got to do to register to win these tickets, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jacques Talk. Like the most recent video, comment on the most recent video. That's all you got to do to register. Everybody who does that, names go in the hat, pull the name out, boom, we have a winner. Valentine's Day is then yours for the taking. The seats are great. My son sat in those seats for the Lakers game. I sat on those seats for my birthday. Luka didn't play that night, but it was all good anyway. I think they played Portland and blew them out. So the seats are fantastic. Section 115. Go check it out. You can thank me later, but make sure you subscribe, make a comment, like the videos, and that'll register you for the tickets, opportunity to win the tickets. We'll make the drawing on Valentine's Day, and we'll put it out early so that you got plenty of time to make your plans and get your date ready and go do what you do. Now, if you're ever involved in an accident and it's not your fault, and that happens daily in DFW, you seen the traffic around here, what you need to do, what you got to do, pick up the phone, call 972-934-8900. It's Greening Law. When they pick up your phone, literally all you got to do is say, hey, here's the details of my situation. What do you think? And I've said this, and I mean it. If they bring you on as a client, it's been a great day for you. It's been a lucky day for you. It's been a momentous day for you because what they're going to do is they're going to handle every single solitary element of your case. They're going to walk you through it. And that's important because why? When you're going up against somebody else's insurance company, man, that thing can be long. It can be drawn out. It can be tedious. If you've never been involved in something like that before, it can be frustrating. It can be intimidating. It can be a lot of things. Scary. You need somebody to ride with you. Greening Law will ride with you. They'll tell you when to go forward, when to hold back, when to take a left, when to take a right, when to speed it up, when to slow it down. They know what they're doing. All you got to do, follow the directions. Now, check this out. They don't get paid unless you get paid. You hear that? They don't get paid unless you get paid. So you don't have to worry about where you fit on the priority list and how important a client you are. You're at the very top. And now, this is what I like too. As part of them helping you out along the way is if you need a doctor, find you a doctor. You need a specialist. They can find you a specialist. They don't really want you working or worried about anything except what? Healing and renewal. Really, that's what they want you worried about. They want you to get your mind right and your body right, get your life back. That's really what they're focused on. So if you're involved in an accident, And I've had a couple of listeners do it already last year. Give them a call, 972-934-8900. Let Green & Law work for you. Now, Clarence Hill Jr., I called him yesterday, and he could barely talk. So much noise going on in the background. He's at the Senior Bowl finding out what's going on with the Cowboys. He talked to Jerry Jones so we can hear what he says, because Jerry Jones says he's all in this year. My response to that is, whatever, dog. We'll see what that really means. But let's talk to Clarence Hill Jr. of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, presented to you each and every Friday by my man at Smokey John's Barbecue, Wine and Brent. Let's see what Chill's got to say. Hey, what's up, Doc?
What's happening? How y'all doing?
It's all good.
Great. This is Clarence Hill Jr. of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. The E stands for what, Joe?
I don't know. I'm at a loss today. I gotta wait.
It stands for.
I gotta wait to see how fired up he is today.
I was gonna say, it stands for every time he go to Mobile, he come back with a couple stories, some of which he can't share publicly.
There you go.
I saw you hanging out with the bros. I was gonna say, I saw you hanging out with the bros in Mobile at the Senior Bowl last night. What type of shenanigans can you tell us that went on publicly, not the private ones?
Just good cigar smoking, good liquor, and good stories, man. It was just a good time. It was, Mobile is a sneaky city, man. They're getting ready for the Mardi Gras down here. People in Mobile would tell you that there's originated in Mardi Gras. Certainly New Orleans is more famous, but the first Mardi Gras was in Mobile. And they're getting ready to have a good time this week in Mobile with the Senior Bowl and the Mardi Gras parades and everything else. But it's a sneaky good city for people that don't know. Don't sleep on Mobile.
Now, I've been there many times, and you're right.
Yeah, me too.
Let's talk about the Cowboys. What you doing in Mobile, Doc? I mean, I know we there for the Senior Bowl. What you doing in Mobile?
Shoot, I went to Mobile twice a week for a year. That's why they call me Big Joe in the Big Rig. Any more questions?
No, sir.
Ran
New
Orleans.
We moving on.
Ran New Orleans for 6 years. It's a wonderful city.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What did you talk to Jerry the other day? What's the most? We moving on quickly. What's the most interesting thing you heard from your conversation with Jerry the other day?
I mean, Jerry was all over the place, and beyond the deck and Mike McCarthy stuff, the fact that he gave life to Bill Belichick, again, to me, is just Jerry wanting to continue the drama and keep the Cowboys in the news. I just don't believe that there's anybody's going to give Bill Belichick control of their organization. But Jerry basically, instead of just shutting down any Belichick talk, he says, I can work with Bill Belichick. I can do that. I can see us working together. Why would you say that when you got a sitting head coach? Well, Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I find that.
Yeah, he already has pressure on him to win. Why would you even give life to that when you have a sitting head coach? And one reason why you kept McCarthy, which frustrates Cowboys fans, because he allows you to be comfortable. You're comfortable with Mike McCarthy. Bringing in Bill Belichick, you won't be comfortable. And one reason why Bill Belichick didn't get the job in Atlanta is because he wants control of everything. I don't think anybody's going to give Bill Belichick, much you respect him as a head coach, no one respects him right now as a personnel guy and a draft guy. And no one's giving him control of everything. And certainly the Cowboys are not taking the personnel department away from Will McClay and giving it to Bill Belichick. And so,
no.
But Jerry does not like to shut down things because he likes to give things life, so people can continue talking about the Cowboys. I'm just like, I go back to 2016 when Dak Prescott is 13-3 and leading the Cowboys into the playoffs with the number 1 seed, and Jason Garrett and everybody else has already said Dak's our quarterback. When I go back to Tony Romo and Jerry Jones is in the media late in the season going to the playoffs, I dream of Tony Romo leading us to the Super Bowl. Why you give, that's not even on the table. It's not even the cards. But Jerry's giving that stuff life because he likes people talking about the Cowboys. And I think that's the only reason why he continues to give the Bill Belichick narrative life. And again, it's unfair to Mike McCarthy because Jerry, at least his words, Mike McCarthy, deserved to come back for one final year, and so we'll see. But he does have the pressure of make it or break it because there's no contract after this year. It runs out.
Yeah, I saw those questions about Bill Belichick, and I was just shaking my head like, "What are you talking about, man?" But I guess I should be used to it. Matter of fact, I heard him. I didn't even really give him any credence. But then again, I'm removed enough to understand what he's doing, as opposed to maybe the fan base, which may have got. But I don't even think it took that much traction with the fan base. I think even they understand. Sometimes he just be bumping his gums.
There's no doubt, and again, when we talked to Jerry, he was all over the place, and again, he throws support for Mike, he throws support for Dak, and I mean, one of the most interesting things he says, well, last year at this time, Jerry and Steven went out of their way to be bullish on Dak. We love Dak. We want to be a quarterback the next 10 years. We want to get the contract done, extension done, because we have to lower that cap. They're very bullish on Dak. This year, we asked them about Dak, and they don't want to talk contract, which is kind of odd to me after Dak's MVP season. And certainly what the contract situation is. And once I, kind of pointed out to them, y'all were bullish on Dak last year. Now y'all don't want to talk contract. We don't want to talk that type of stuff. I'm like, well, we still believe in Dak. We still believe in Dak, but we just don't want to talk contract. Well, what does that mean? Why would you not want to talk contract? You're $19 million over the cap. Dak Prescott is a $59 million cap hit. You have to address this contract, or it's going to limit your ability to add players to this team to go all in. How can you go all in and not commit to your quarterback? None of that makes any sense. And the thing that, this little ditty that Jerry said that I said we'll go as far as Dak takes us, and that's how far we went. What does that mean? It's like,
I don't
is
know
that
what
a
that
compliment?
means, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's how far we went. Well, duh. So, does that mean you're all in or you're not? On your quarterback, because you didn't go far. And so you can't say that I support my quarterback, but yet you're not ready to commit. But I think that all things are on the table. I mean, I think that they don't know what they want to do. And they don't want to put themselves into a corner by saying anything. But I think that certainly signing him into an extension is on the table. But also, I think that there's consideration to letting him play out this final year. But the thing about it is that Dak has all the leverage. He has a no trade clause. He has a no franchise tag clause. And you can say, and I know fan bases and everybody else is getting rid of everybody. They just want blood. But if you let Dak get the free agent market, he gonna get his money. And there are a lot of teams with worse quarterback situations than the Cowboys who would love to have Dak Prescott. Pittsburgh Steelers or somebody like that is for example, they would love to have Dak Prescott. And I don't know, and if the Cowboys want to get on that quarterback abyss that they were on from Troy Aikman to Tony Romo. And again, you can say, let's give Trey Lance a shot or let's draft one. None of those are guarantees. And none of those guarantees are going to be better than what you have with Dak Prescott. This is true.
What feeling? How did you interpret it when Jerry says, "Is that if I interpret it properly, we're going all in this year"? What does that mean?
I don't know what it means because I asked the question again. I was like, Jerry, the thing about it is that the Cowboys say they have done everything they could to win, but we all know the Cowboys in the past have been trying to serve two masters. They've been trying to win while also balancing the budget and build for the future. They were only shop at the bargain baseball rack free because they didn't want to get out of the whacking cap, and they're always we're going to build through the draft. We're not going to do all this. So you can't. The Rams went all in. The Cowboys have never gone all in. They've certainly tried to improve their team, but also did it while also trying to keep everything solvent and build for the future. One thing that always frustrated me about Stephen Jones is they keep talking about the cap. I said, no one cares about the cap. No one cares that you guys are not in cap hell. No one cares that you're balancing the budget as well as anybody. You make more money than God allows. The richest franchise in sports history, and all y'all talk about is being cap solvent. People want to win. And so Jerry said we're going all in, and it won't be about the future. It'll be about now. If you look at the whole quote, and so that should answer some of your questions.
Right.
So we'll see. But again, going all in, they first have to again address Dak and get cap solvent and get under the cap, and then we'll see what that means and how they address players.
Yeah, I was going to say that it just didn't make sense to me. Like, I mean, I get what all in means, but how it manifests itself would be interesting to me. I heard somebody throw the name out last night, and it's intriguing, but I'm always leery. What do you think about Derrick Henry in Dallas?
Well, I mean, I like that. I think the Cowboys should have tried to trade for him midseason last year. I mean, one thing that Jared talked about is the Cowboys have to stop the run and they have to run the ball better. They recognize that. It's one thing you look at the playoffs and the teams that have succeeded have run the ball well outside of Kansas City when they got Patrick Mahomes. That's another story. But it's been about the trenches and being able to run the ball and stop the run. And the Cowboys ultimately couldn't run it like they hoped to run it this year. They relied too much on Dak and his arm, and so they couldn't stop the run. And I think that aging Derrick Henry, he's not the player he was, but he's still a good back, a strong back. If you pair him up with a young guy, kind of like what they did in Tennessee, I think it works. You're not paying him $10 million. What is Derrick Henry going to want? But you certainly need to improve that running game, and I think that's an option they should consider for sure.
Man, I just looked up a Derrick Henry stat that just blew my mind. Just so y'all know, he had 1,167 yards last year, 12 touchdowns, had a long of 69, averaged 4.2 per carry. Now, interestingly enough, he did play for Tennessee and they had some quarterback issues, but the last 4 years he's gone from 126 yards a game to 117 yards a game to 96 yards a game to 68 yards a game last year. This is interesting. This is the stat that blew my mind. He led the league in carries. How many carries did he have? That's a question for y'all to answer. Led the league in carries. How many carries did Derrick Henry at 29 have last year?
300.
You talking about? Well, he shared time for the first time.
Hey, man, just answer the question. You always try to give me all this other stuff. See, Joe answered the question.
250.
All right, that's a quality guess. I was shocked, man. He had 280 carries, and that led the league. I mean, I can't believe that 280 carries led the league. That's insane to me.
And he split time for the first time. He was usually getting 80% of the snaps, and I think he was down to 60% of the snaps when you look at, the running back from Tulane that they had sharing time with him, what they're moving on with. But so again, I think he still was productive, and he averaged 4.2 yards a carry on a team that didn't have a quarterback and splitting time. I think in the Cowboys situation where you do have a passing game, he can be effective here. Again, the thing about it is that Derrick Henry lives in Dallas in the off season. He works out in Dallas in the off season. He's in Dallas right now. It's something that you have to consider.
No, he trains at Sanders Fit with a couple friends of mine, which is in downtown Dallas. Because I saw him a few years ago. I was like, yo, what's he doing out here? And they were like, oh, no, man, he's been working out with us for a minute. So he's very familiar and comfortable in Dallas. Spends a lot of time in the offseason here. But I think I don't know what they would have budgeted for the backfield. But, yeah, if you could get Henry and Pollard for a reasonable price, I think that would be terrific.
As long as he don't show up like Eddie George, we all good. It's all good.
Well, I did say you are talking about a 29-year-old running back, man.
Yeah, Eddie George had nothing left. He looked good though.
He was still built like a Greek god.
No, but he had a 69-yard run last year. He still has juice in his legs. I mean, you watch him play. He's certainly not Eddie George of that year for sure.
No. What you think of Micah Parsons' comments that we're going to discuss later?
He finally broke his silence. I think what's interesting is that Mike McCarthy Micah Parsons, if you look at all his comments, he kind of echoed what his brother said in criticizing Dan Quinn and their scheme. he talked about we were asking, we didn't have an answer for anything. We were outperforming, we were asking, had an answer for everything. And he said, people say, why don't you go to linebacker? The package in for me to go to linebacker. But I'm not calling personnel. I'm not putting out personnel. I told multiple players that I'm very fond of playing linebacker in the playoffs. And that's what y'all want me to do. I just want to win. So so he said I can't put me in position unless the coach does it. That's an open criticism of Dan Quinn.
He said I ain't gonna say nothing, but it ain't me. That's what he said.
All of that. He said y'all. He said you look at the tape and say I didn't play my heart out. He defended himself, defended Dak, defended Mike McCarthy. But yeah. The thing that stood out to me was the fact that he took a shot at the scheme and Dan Quinn.
And that brings us to Dan Quinn. He's still without a head coaching job. I don't know that he's getting the Washington job because they interviewed him by Zoom. They flew him up there, and they ain't gave it to him yet. I don't know what they're waiting for if he's the guy. Do you think he's coming back, or do you think he's going to Washington?
Man, let's just talk about Washington for a minute. You get rid of Dan Snyder and all this drama. You're bringing these NBA guys, Magic Johnson, the hockey guys, whatever they are, to supposedly change the franchise, And everybody knew that you were going to fire Ron Rivera when
you took the job,
when you
bought the team.
Right.
Yeah.
Why you didn't fire him mid-season, I don't know. You wait to the end of the season to fire him. And now everybody you hire a GM who don't have a coach in his back pocket. How do you not have a coach? How does everybody the coaching hot seat, everybody got a coach but you, and you have these options you got, that no one's really excited about. I like Eric Glenn. I like Dan Quinn. You got Antonio Pierce, but of all the coaching names, everything's, these guys that you were trying to get, certainly you couldn't get the offensive guys everybody thought you were going to get. How are you left at the altar right here with no front runners? Not only you have a finalist, but there's really not a front runner for this job.
So Eric Bieniemy is not even close, huh?
No, he didn't get a second interview. At least,
okay.
I don't know if they start over or and then everybody's interviewed. Why have you not hired a coach?
Yeah.
When Seattle interviewed Mac McDonald for the second time, they didn't let him get out the building. When Michigan interviewed, when the Chargers brought in Jim Harbaugh, they didn't let him out the building. How do you let all these coaches leave and not hire one if there's one you like?
Well, yeah. It's very interesting. I like the way Adam Schefter spun it. Saying, well, now Washington has their choice of everybody who's available, and they can be even more diligent. It don't reek of diligence to me. It reeks of incompetence to me. And maybe it's because they hire basketball people instead of football people.
Yeah. Who's available? To say that, so they're going to reopen the process and interview Vrabel and Belichick, who they didn't, do before. Again, the process is awful. And for a fan base who thought that, they were finally getting competent people to run this thing after, you're dealing with Dan Snyder, this is not an example of competence.
No, it's the height of incompetence, really. So, no, I don't know what they're going to do. Now, what's your take on why Bieniemy, I got my own thought on it. What's your take on why Bieniemy hasn't, it seems like all the luster is off of him.
No, certainly the luster is off of him. You look at the situation and, you're a hot candidate, you're on these cycles, and all of a sudden, it's dried up, and there are other hot candidates, and I never thought the Washington job was good for him because it was a lame duck situation. Everybody knew that they were going to have to fire Rivera, and I don't know how when everything is stinking, you're going to get some of that stink on you. You can't revive.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't. If they're going to fire the coach, and we all knew there was question about quarterback. There's no way you could come out just looking good, especially from an offensive standpoint, and be back, into that whole coaching situation. There was questions about him coming out of Kansas City, which I understand he felt he had to go and call plays on his own, even though his two previous predecessors he were able to get head coaching jobs, even though Andy Reid was, was calling the plays, and but it was something that he had to do differently, and it didn't work out, and now people are looking at these other new hot coordinators and whoever else, and no one's talking about Bieniemy. Things didn't go well. He's a hard coach. He's an old school coach. He will cuss you out, and the players didn't like it, and so that was part of the problem in Washington, is that these soft players and their soft head coach, they couldn't handle Eric Bieniemy holding them accountable. And again, in today's day and age, Dan Quinn's a player coach. I don't know. People talk about these players. Deion talk about these players. I don't know that you can coach players today like you coached years ago. And I don't know if that
you can't.
That I don't know if that style works, and people like that style.
No, it's a whole new generation, and I mean, you can complain about it and moan about it, but the reality is it's a whole new generation of kids, and so you have to figure out how to kind of meet them where they are, and you can still discipline them, but you got to do it a different way, and you got to explain it to them.
My point is, Eric is old school QE. He's a dog cutter.
Yeah,
You can say Parcells used to. You'd be miserable when Parcells walk into the weight room because he ain't got nothing good to say to you.
Right.
I don't know if you can create violence of fear anymore. Because players just don't respond that way.
No, you're right. I think it's a whole different world, and you just have to figure it out.
That participation trophy generation.
That's all of that college generation, everything else. You got to. Everything has to be positive reinforcement. You can't have negativity. You can't cuss them out like listen. We it's the same way we raise our kids. Back in the day, parents used to take huffing and puffing as talking back. You can't roll your eyes.
Oh, no.
Don't breathe heavy.
None of that.
I'm still like that. What you talking about? I'm still like that.
Breathe heavy is talking back.
Yes, I was watching them hands all the time.
Stomp up them stairs if you want to.
Yeah, for sure.
Slam that door.
Yeah.
You don't do none of that. You go up in that room, you gently close that door, and then you can say whatever you want to say after that.
Yeah.
But them outward shows of upsetting it, anger, we don't get down like that.
Same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we've become everybody. We've become our parents. It's kind of sad.
Oh, it's not. No, it's not.
Well, I'm talking about just from an old school age. But, I think it's a difference. I talk about the whole timeout generation. Timeout is cool, but sometimes you need to get your butt whooped for a minute. To understand the severity of your crime against the family.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes we can talk about it, and if we talked about it a couple of times and you still haven't gotten it, sometimes I just got to put my hands on you for a minute, and then it's all good.
CPS, that is Jacques Taylor.
It's too late now.
Hey, my kids is grown.
The statute of limitations is over with for that. Because I'm gonna tell you, I was up to about three good ass whoopings a year, just to let you know. Hey, you gotta whoop that ass to let them know. Hey, do you want a whooping? If they don't know what a whooping is, then you ain't scaring nobody.
Ask my grandson. He look at me. Hey,
There you go. See, you now you telling on yourself. There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, you dry snitch. You snitching on yourself. So stop
hey
it.
Man, it stop is. He got raised in the new age. He didn't get the old one, and the other ones let him know. You lucky.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
All you do is get talked to bad sometimes. But I don't even think I put my hands on him, so he blessed. On that note.
Well, that's a good conversation.
Well, we talk about whippings for a long time.
Well, we do mass punishment over here.
Mass punishment?
You don't get him straight? Okay, I'm gonna get all y'all. It's all good. How about that? Y'all go upstairs, figure out what happened, come back, tell me what happened. Y'all don't. Everybody gets it. There you go.
You know what? I think I did that once or twice, but mine was usually they was snitching on each other so fast it really wasn't a problem. Trying to avoid that. And then there's the one time, I'll tell y'all this. The one time I was picking up my son. He was about 5. I pick him up. Everybody else up against the wall. He's sitting at the table coloring. Okay, what's wrong with this picture? So I walk in, ask the teacher, I said, hey, why he down there coloring everybody else up against the wall? She said, oh, Mr. Taylor, I just love him. He's such a nice young man.
Oh.
I left the classroom, and when I came back, there was a lot of confusion going on. And I asked what happened, and he told me. I said,
he's a snitch.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
I said,
two things here. I could go all day without hearing them use that damn lady voice. You don't have to use that voice, talk like a lady. And my boy is a bona fide snitch. What's up, dog?
I looked at I said, Sister King, are you telling me my son snitched on everybody? Oh no, Mr. Taylor, it's not that. He just told me that everybody was acting up while she was gone, while I was gone. I said, okay, you don't ever have to worry about that happening again. Thank you. I took him out in the car. I said, dog, you can't be telling on everybody. But Daddy, they was acting up, and she told us to sit down, and they just wouldn't behave. I said, hey, man, that's not for you to tell. So yeah, my dude used to be a snitch.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm going to have to call him and remind him of that story this morning. All right, Clarence Hill Jr.
That you told everybody. You told everybody. Yeah.
Well, yeah, his business out there now. He already know. Yeah, we appreciate you, Mr. Hill. We will talk to you safe travels in Mobile.
All right, man. Thank you, guys.
All right, that's Clarence Hill Jr. The E stands for every time he go to Mobile, he got some stories. Some of them he can share. Some of them he can't. He's brought to us each and every Friday by Smokey John's Barbecue, 1820 West Mockingbird. Smokey John's, they got the big game pack. Hey, it's still time to get it. The big game pack, you got to order it by February 8th so that you can enjoy it at the Super Bowl. Just so you know, that's a half a gallon of their signature barbecue queso, tortilla chips, 4 pounds of wings, 2 pounds of ribs, and Smokey John's barbecue sauce. All you got to do for the big game pack is call 1-8870-SJ-BBQ. It's $139.95. Let me be straight with y'all. That's a good deal. Real talk. That's a good deal. 4 pounds of wings, all that barbecue sauce, all that queso, half a gallon of the brisket queso. That means it got some meat in it. And 2 pounds of ribs. That's some good eating. I'm going to be enjoying it while the game is going on. Trust me on that. That's some quality food right there. Smokey John's Barbecue. And just because you get that, don't mean when you order that you can't say, hey, will you throw a jam session bowl in there for me too? It really doesn't preclude you from doing that. Jam session bowl. It's a bowl that's got a mac and cheese base or a mashed potato base. 2 out of 5 smoked meats. Your boy likes to rock with the brisket and the sausage. And then all that stuff you put on a loaded baked potato, chives and bacon bits and sour cream and cheese and butter, all that stuff, man. They put all that on there, and then they say, you want to drizzle it? You want to drench it with that sweet Smokey John's barbecue sauce. They put it on there. It's to live for. What is it, Joe? It's love in your mouth. Tasty, tasty, tasty. Joe and Armini going to get one soon. We're just trying to work out the details when Armini is free. And then they, too, will know the joy of Smokey John's Barbecue. It's enough for 2, real easy. Easy is enough for 2. You got a little shorty that's 6 or 7. The 3 of y'all can eat off of it. But the Jam Session Bowl is something else. If you need some more Smokey John's in your life, you can go to the marketplace, SmokeyJohns.com. You can order the rub or the sauce and have it sent to your home a couple days. If you need it more immediate than that, you can get Smokey John's rub, HEBs, all over Dallas-Fort Worth, Burleson, Waxahachie, Allen, Frisco. It's everywhere. So pick it up, Smokey John's Barbecue. The food is to live for. It is love in your mouth. I like when I say that, man. Love in your mouth.
Yuck.
Smokey John's is fantastic. Don't forget, order the big game pack. It's fantastic for $139.95. 4 pounds of ribs. 4 pounds of wings, 2 pounds of ribs, a half a gallon of brisket queso. It's worth the money. Let's talk about your boy. Clarence mentioned him for a minute, man. Let's talk about your boy, Micah Parsons. He waited 17 days after that debacle at AT&T Stadium to put his comments out there about the game. Said he stayed in the house for a minute. Said he was embarrassed. They didn't want to come out in the streets and get that smoke from the people. And I get where he's coming from. I don't know about, let me rephrase that. I know about Micah Parsons. He's a great player. He's not yet been a difference maker in the biggest playoff games for whatever reason. He had a terrific season. He's been All-Pro 3 years in a row. He's trending toward a Hall of Fame career. But, it's all about longevity and production. But, I'm trying to figure out a way to say it. It seems to me, and I don't know, you can probably help me with this. I don't think he's whining, but I think he's whining. But maybe it's just that he pays too much attention to what people say. And what I mean is, when I was a columnist at the Dallas Morning News, and even when I was a columnist at ESPN, but it was even more intense when I was at the Dallas Morning News because you're in Dallas, you're at the paper of record in Dallas, and so it's a little more intense. But when you write a column, and I used to say this all the time, I got to speak the truth. The truth as I see it, based on the conversations I had with various people and based on what I see with my own eyes. And once I come out with what I believe is the truth, then and I've said it many times, it didn't matter to me what my kids thought, what my wife thought, what my friends thought, what my pastor thought, what the Cowboys thought, what my bosses thought. This is what I believe. This is what I'm writing. And y'all are all worthy and welcome to your opinions, but your opinions have no effect on me. I can respect them, but they have no effect on me. I don't care one way or the other, whether you loved the column, whether you hated the column, it's all good. I just wrote the truth as I believed it. And here's why. If you let those people affect how you think, and, I don't want the pastor mad at me, so I'm going to write it like this. I don't want Jerry mad at me, so I'm going to write it like this. I don't want Will not to pick up my phone, I'm going to write it like this. You're not really writing what you believe to be the truth. You're writing what you think people are okay with hearing. And then you can't be the best version of yourself. I say all that to say, with Micah Parsons, it seems like he's got too many, he listens to too much out there. Now, maybe he's part of today's society. But, you just can't be getting caught up in what Skip Bayless says about you. And, the fan base wants to win. Now, I'm talking to a fan. I'm talking to y'all too. So I don't know that the fan base cares how the sausage is made. At the end of the day, they want to win. And if you lost the game that you're supposed to win, they're going to be mad and they're going to say things. What's your take on Micah, Doc?
First, I want to say Micah is just scratching the surface of his ability, believe it or not. Once he get them hands together, he gonna be even better. The stuff with the media and all this outside noise, I think his comments now are more of an explanation of how he felt about the situation, less than reacting to what people say. The Skip Bayless stuff, like months ago, our conversation about Micah was, I was like, hey man, I wish Micah would just shut up and play. Just not be so out in the media. And your point was, well, I like Micah talking because that helps our job. But also you said Micah needs some media training. I think the kind of comments that he made today, where I wouldn't have said nothing, he said something, but the way he said it was okay. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was, we'll get to the clips, but I thought the way he spoke, it was okay. It was
I think the good thing about him was, and the reason why he probably needed 17 days to talk, was he was talking, he had removed some of the emotion from it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what you was talking about last time when he was just saying stupid stuff. And we was like, what the hell? But, he had removed the emotion from it so he could really give you, here's what I'm really feeling, here's what I'm really thinking. It's some growth there.
Yeah. So it's all very interesting to me. And it's interesting how it's all going to play out because he said a lot of interesting things. And, we're about to get into it. But, I think winning cures a lot of this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know,
Winning and alcohol. Yeah. Yeah, you know, let's go have a drink. Let's kick somebody's ass. It cures a lot of things.
well, here's what he said about just the loss to Green Bay and how it made him feel.
Sad, man, that you lose the way you do, especially at home. Talking about how much we played at home, how much it stood for us to be at home, and to go out like that at home was completely embarrassing.
So yeah, I mean they were top 5 defense most of the year. You can say what you want to. They played the teams that they played weren't this or they weren't that. Bottom line is they led the league in turnovers. They played good most of the year. Yes, we all had questions about the run defense throughout the year, but they did enough to win. Micah Parsons in that game against Green Bay, 2 tackles, 1 quarterback hit, no sacks. No tackles for loss. I didn't notice necessarily. I think he did draw a couple holding calls, so he was around. But the bigger thing is, if you look at the Cowboys, they did give up 6 out of 10 on third down, 415 yards, 143 yards rushing, 272 yards passing. They didn't really control Green Bay's offense much of the day. And they never looked like they were in control of the game. So it's understandable why he said that. How much of that what did you think of Micah's performance in that game?
It was incomplete. I mean, you can't really judge Micah's performance when they give up 40-something points. I mean, it's a total break. If Micah don't play good, it don't mean you don't give up 40 points. If Micah don't play good, you know, it don't mean that people running, 15 yards wide open and, catching them damn passes like they punch in the damn secondary. So it's just a total breakdown of the defense. So that's what I thought about his performance. I couldn't get mad at him because everybody else was playing awful. So what you want to do? You got whoop. You got mollywop. What is that one guy? You know what I'm saying? How can we, how can you blame it on one person?
Now, as we talk about the Cowboys, they did give up 143 yards rushing. Aaron Jones had a 100-yard game, 118 yards, averaged 5.6, scored 3 touchdowns. Been a lot of conversation about, hey, how come Micah now how come we can't use him at linebacker? Cowboys undersized linebacker. They're using safeties at linebacker. How come Micah can't be put at linebacker? What's up with that? Why does he fight it so much? Well, here's what he had to say about that perception.
But at the end of the day, we were just outperformed, out-schemed, however you want to put it. Like, they had an answer for everything. And people saying, well, why ain't you go to linebacker? Because, they said you could stop the run. Well, guess what? The packages are in for me to go to linebacker. There's multiple packages, multiple variations. But I can only play what it's called. Whatever they're calling, whoever personnel they're putting on, I'm not putting out personnel. I'm not putting out the calls. Nothing's coming from me. So,
all right. So how do you interpret that? It sounded to me like he said, hey, I ain't talk about linebacker. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's about Dan Quinn calling the defense. Wherever they need me to play, I'm going to play. I ain't never told him I wouldn't play.
That's just like saying, hey, does Jacques make good potato salad? I don't know. I don't eat it. I ain't eat that. Hey, he's saying, like I said a while ago, hey, I ain't saying nothing, but it ain't the problem. It's that equivocation. I ain't saying nothing, but I'm saying something. I said from the beginning of the year, they need to get him off the line on first and second down.
How come?
Because it's easy to get your hands on. I mean, if he don't beat his guy on the run game at defensive end, he 240?
Yeah.
That number 11 makes him look smaller than he is. He's still a big dude. But
right.
Once it's easier for them linemen to stab and grab you in the running game, with their hands. You got to fight them hands and get a hold of you and push you around at 240. When they want to do it, when people are committed to it. You you put Sam Williams, who's about 260, ain't that much bigger, but he's just a bigger dude, and you move Micah back on first and second down, you got a chance, especially after Overshawn got hurt and Leighton was out. I thought we'd see him like that, but I thought if you play him at first and second down, it's a lesser player, but if old school people remember A.J. Dewey, who used to play like that, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't Micah.
No, you went deep in archives.
That's what popped in my mind. You know, Big 77. He played first and second down, and he played middle. He played defensive end. He was all over the place. There's been a lot of guys, not a lot of guys, but some guys like that. That's kind of old school. But
let me tell y'all something. Joe's talking about A.J. Dewey, who played for the Miami Dolphins from 1977 to 1984.
Number 77.
So when he said, hey, I threw out an old school name for you, he literally means I threw out an old school name for you. 6'4", 247 pounds. First round pick of the Miami Dolphins.
LSU.
Yeah. Now that you had just a couple seconds, is there anybody more recent than somebody who's not 50 years old?
Khalil Mack.
Okay, all right.
Khalil Mack made All-Pro at linebacker and at linebacker and defensive end 1 year, I think. If I'm mistaken, yeah.
I believe you are correct on that.
Yeah. But
I
you
believe
got
you are correct.
But AJ Dewey is a better example because Khalil played outside linebacker and defensive end, which is kind of the same, depending on the scheme, if you're in 3-4 or whatnot. But AJ moved around like Micah.
You talking about he moved around within the series or a drive or whatever?
Yeah. What's my man's name? Is it Cornelius Bennett for Buffalo? Same thing, but he wasn't a big sack guy. AJ did everything, and I know that's dated as hell, but that's the first player that popped in my mind that was so versatile and was winning. There was some winning football right there.
Right.
But Khalil Mack is probably like that. I think Micah is more like Khalil Mack, the way the Cowboys use him, whether he's, linebacker. Right now they got him straight in, and I didn't like that. And then another thing is, like we was watching the tape from Brian Baldinger, where you fire Micah through the A gap, the other dudes run through the other gap because there's number 14 standing there.
Right.
A damn safety there. So you put him on the left, they're going to run to the right. You put him on the right. It's kind of like we talked about LT, where he had to have some dogs with him because you had Carl Banks on the other side of Lawrence Taylor, you know. So you couldn't just say, we're going to run to the other side. You put other pieces, which what the Cowboys was doing, and it's the same old broken record that everybody's talking about, and now Micah's talking about the damn linebacker core. So that's the whole thing, So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they got to shore that up in the draft. I don't think we'll get much from them in free agency, even though Jerry says they're going all in. We shall see.
So y'all don't like Sam? Y'all don't like Sam Williams? What do you think about Sam? We talked about it the other day. It seemed like y'all was kind of iffy on him. I think he's a pretty good athlete.
Sam Williams is a very talented player who makes a lot of mistakes.
You think he make mistakes in maybe I didn't notice. I know in special teams he did some stuff, but did he?
He's a mistake-prone guy.
Such as going the wrong way or penalties or what you saying?
Yeah, penalties, and I would say this. If you go back and look at him over the course of a year, he's always involved in some foolishness. And I don't mean that necessarily like it's intentional foolishness, but some people...
Define foolishness. You talking about punching somebody or pushing and shoving?
I'm talking about more about playing. I'm not. Sometimes there's some penalties. He seems to make inopportune mistakes.
Is he blowing assignments or is he jumping? Yeah,
there's some of that too. So it's a little bit of everything.
That's coachable. That's coachable. What's not coachable is the stupid stuff that Randy Gregory used to do. Grabbing the guard, holding the guard when the guard's trying to pull, and it's obvious that you're doing that. What you doing, man? Just stupid stuff, jumping off sides. I don't know. I think as long as Sam stays his ass out of trouble.
Well, plus, he got some off the field issues too.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, and any coach will tell you this, really. I mean, really, and it doesn't matter. Really, it don't even matter if we talk about high school, college, or pro. If I can't trust you to stay out of trouble off the field, it's hard for me to trust you to stay on the field. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. You know when that bat phone gonna ring at night. It's about you.
Some talent trumps that, i.e., Dez Bryant, Pac-Man Jones. You know what I'm saying?
Some talent trumps that. And the question would be, does Sam Williams have that talent?
Yeah, there you go.
And I don't know, because like you thought you would think maybe Kelvin Joseph's talent trumped that.
Oh,
that's why they drafted.
No.
But Kelvin Joseph never displayed that kind of talent.
Yeah, he was in trouble at LSU. Then he went to Kentucky. And then
so
if I'm right. Yeah, then he got in trouble here. So no,
I think and Archer raised a good point the other day, but I think if you gave Sam Williams all of Dorrance Armstrong snaps, Sam Williams could probably get you 7 to 8 snaps, and he might be the guy.
7 to 8 sacks, yeah.
Sacks. He might be a really good player. You just have to, can you do all the other stuff to stay on the field and all the stuff that comes with being a starter that we trust? Because the organization right now doesn't trust them fully.
Yeah, you got some guys that get in trouble, and they get out of trouble, and you don't ever hear about it again. Jordan Lewis was like that. Remember, he had some kind of court deal he had to take care of before he got to the Cowboys, and I thought, oh, wait, here we go.
Yeah, but
we never heard anything else of that. He a professional.
No, he got exonerated from that. That was some bad girlfriend drama.
It was still there.
Yeah, but it was there, but we all know there are things that happen in your life that really you were there, but you're not really in control of it. Somebody else is in control of it, and you have to clean it up, if that makes sense. Does that make sense or no?
It does, but if you
basically somebody can say something and you have to defend yourself, and
that just go back to she was crazy when you met her, but all right.
Well, that's not a bad way to say it.
Yeah, you crazy too. If you fooling with her, you crazy too. But all right then.
Yeah, all right then. And if you look at Micah's overall performance as we wrap up Micah Parsons, here's his overall thoughts about the loss to the Packers.
I'm at complete peace, and I say that because I don't think I could have done anything more to try to win that game, and that comes to watching film with the other guys in the room, saying what I'm seeing, being vocal out there on the field. I was completely at peace because I know I don't have no regrets about how I performed or what I put into the game. And, and I appreciate what really matters.
See, what I tell you, I'd rather get whooped 48 like they got whooped. I'd rather get whooped like that than get beat by a single point. Because I could have played better. I could have done something. I think he looking around going, y'all know we got our ass kicked, right? I'm okay with that. Ain't wasn't nothing I could do about that. I could have played hard.
It was so thorough.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I could have done.
That's what I think. I could have played hard as I wanted. I did play hard as I wanted to. Hell, I was out there being vocal. I was cussing people out, trying to get them right. Encouragement, cussing them out, whatever it took to try to get guys together, and nobody was hearing me because we was out cold. This whole thing is, it all makes sense. To me, if I read into what he's saying, hey man, we got our ass drove out there. And what else? What? I'm in the film, and we all looking at the film, and we see what happened. I'm not mad. I'm not mad because we couldn't have done nothing.
No, there's nothing else for us to do. Just take this ass whooping and keep it moving.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I think. That's good stuff, though.
All right. Well, people have a lot of interesting takes on this in terms of a guy like Micah, a superstar in whatever sport it is, football, basketball, baseball, having their own platform to put their thoughts out as opposed to answering questions from the media.
It's that new stuff. It's the Draymond Green. I don't give a damn what you say, Draymond. Shut up. Now, when he analyzed the game, I'm good. But when he trying to explain why he punched somebody or did something stupid, man, go away. We don't, you ain't selling nothing. You ain't selling that crap to me. But I think this thing with Micah is, I think he's sincere. And like you say, he took 17 days. I think I'm good with that. A lot of stupid stuff he done said, or the immature stuff he done said, I thought, man. And this is the first time I heard these quotes. I like that stuff. It's pretty good.
I just think when they had these platforms, if they do them consistently like Micah has, I just think they become a window into who they are. And so I think it provides you a lot of insight into who they are. And say, like, even if you talk about Draymond Green, providing excuses for his behavior, this, that, and the other thing, even that provides you some insight into who he is and how he thinks. Well, and the thing about it is, when they talk about stuff, guess what they can't be? Misquoted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, kind of like Charles Barkley.
Misconstrued.
I was misquoted in my autobiography.
Right. Like, you put it all out there. They're your quotes, your words, your thoughts. And it's okay. And so we take them, and then we go interpret them. But they're out there. So it's all kind of interesting. But that's Micah Parsons. 17 days after the debacle at AT&T Stadium, he gives you some thoughts on what he's thinking. Now, man, let's take a quick trip around the block. Many of y'all know, but some of you don't, that I teach a class at SMU. I think this is year 11 or 12 I've been doing it. My dad's a college professor. My mom taught high schools for a while. Then my mom taught teachers how to teach reading, if y'all figure that out. She taught reading teachers how to teach reading for a long time. So I come from an educational background. My sister is a college professor at Princeton. So I got a call about, you know what happened? I was covering a press conference with Larry Brown when he got to SMU. And I was going to lunch with some of the guys from the morning news at a barbecue place near SMU. And we were walking to it. And I turned the corner and I ran into a woman named Karen Thomas, who used to work at the morning news. And now she was a teacher at SMU. And she said, "Oh my goodness." I'm not using my woman voice right now.
Thank you.
She said, "Oh my goodness. It must be God to put you right here." I started laughing. I said, "Why?" She said, "I was just talking to the dean today, and he said if I knew anybody who could teach a sports journalism class." And she said, "You came to mind, and here I am running into you." I said, "All right, give me his number. I'll give him a call." So I remember the next day sitting in the parking lot at 24 Hour Fitness saying just what I told y'all. Hey, my dad's a college professor. My mom was a teacher. I've mentored a lot of people in the business who've become quite successful. And so, yeah, I'm kind of interested in teaching a class if that opportunity is available. And after my workout, I checked my phone. I got a message. "Give me a call, and let's see if we can make it happen." And so I talked to him for about 5 minutes. He says, "The job is yours if you want it." So I've been teaching ever since. And my semester just started the other day. A couple weeks ago. Yesterday was class number 3. I missed class number 1. It was a wild story, but I missed it. And this is a really good group of students I have this year, man. And when you're like, well, what does that mean? I used to not understand what that meant when, like, I was in high school and my teachers would say, "Oh, I love my 3rd period and my 5th period. I can't stand that 1st period," and the rest of them kind of meh. But I sent them a note last week that said, "You guys had really good energy. Keep it up." And that's what makes a good class, when you have the vast majority of your students in there are really trying to get what you're telling them. And you can see the effort that they're putting forth to try to understand what you're talking about. And they're participating, and they're not on Twitter when they got their computer screens up, or IG or whatever. And so it was a really good class last night, because they were trying to figure out, I was trying to teach them how to find a turning point in a game so that you could write about it. And they did a little bit of group. Said, okay. And I felt they did the group work okay. And I said, okay, how y'all feel about finding the turning point and all the other stuff we're talking about? Man, I said, raise your hand if you feel like you're good about it. Not a single hand shot up, Doc. And I was like, y'all really don't get it? And then no blank faces. I was like, all right, well, let's move on to phase 2 and dig a little deeper. And this time I had them do it individually. As half the group had to find the turning point or when they thought the game was won in Detroit, San Francisco, and the other half had to do it for the Chiefs and the Ravens. And when we finished this exercise, they all did pretty well. And I said, so all y'all needed was one more to figure it out. And then all of a sudden the hand shot up, they started nodding. And I said, okay, well, we're at a good spot. Let's go home. And that right there, man, is the rewarding feeling you get when you're teaching somebody, where you see them kind of grinding through it, trying to figure it out. And then they kind of have an aha moment where they get it. And, and then a few of them, that's what I enjoy about teaching, that. And I had a few of them had some really good questions last night. We were talking about sources, and one of them said, well, how do you know when you can trust a source? And I was like, you know what? That's a great question. And I said, you build trust over time like any relationship with anybody. So we had a lot of good journalism conversations last night. And so it just reminded me what I enjoy about teaching. Then I thought about you and all the people you've taught how to shoot at various stages of your life, whether you were in the service or whether you were out of the service. Is that something that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I don't teach shooting professionally because that way I don't have to teach anybody I don't want to. once you start getting paid, you get the yahoos and the knuckleheads and all that. So I just teach family members and friends and stuff like that. I'll get a group of 4, and I encourage everybody to be encouraging. To encourage the other person. Don't talk a lot of noise. I usually get the noise talk to me because when I first get in there, a lot of times, usually I teach a group of ladies from the family. Right. And when I first get in there, they all, the sound gets them all scared and stuff. And, we kind of support each other. And by the end of the class, they shooting everything. We start out small, and we start out with maybe a 380, 22, go to 9, and we shoot a 45 if they want to. And by the end of the class, a couple of times I've had them talking noise to me. Like one time I had a class where I said, all right, I got like 7 rounds of 45 left. Who wants to shoot it? And every last one of them go, how come you don't shoot? I said, what are you talking about? How come you don't shoot? You've been teaching us the whole time. Can you shoot? And it's like, you know what? Y'all went from scared to cocky. All right, then put that target up there. So I finished shooting, and I put 6 of those rounds in about the size of a doggone fist. I ain't talking about no quarter. I'm just saying a fist.
Right.
And they said, well, that's 6 holes. Where's the 7th round? I said, I shot the little man. And the little man is the little silhouette at the top of the target. If you ever been to the range.
Right.
And they said, really? And then I pulled the target up. There was a hole in the little man. They said, wow. I said, well, the 45 is such a big, long pistol that it's actually pretty accurate to shoot itself if you know what you're doing. But my point was, I got to know what I'm doing, or y'all going to talk about my ass in the car. See what I'm saying? Oh, you're going to be on the way home talking about his ass can't shoot, and he up there teaching. So, I practice what I preach. But one of the most interesting things that you said was what I didn't think about, and I never had to deal with in the service, was social media and cell phones and stuff like that. And they got their computers, and that's something that our teachers didn't have to deal with. That's got to be nuts. Do you have control over that in the classroom? Can you tell, hey, man, get off of Instagram? Can you do that?
The way I do it is... and I tell them all at the start that I teach the class the way I wish my professors, my teachers had taught classes when I was in school. And so what I have is a very participatory class. I tell them all that from day one. Like, this is not a class you can hang out and not participate. I understand some of y'all are shy. You're going to have to get over it. And so what I mean is, like, I got 11 kids in my class this year. And so if I say, hey, what was the turning point of the Detroit San Francisco game? I literally go around the table. Mm-hmm. Hey, Joe, what you think? Hey, Mary, what you think? Hey, Tori, what you think? Hey, Ainsley, what you think? Hey, Liza, I mean, I literally go around the table. So there's no hiding. And if you don't know, guess what gets exposed? The fact that you don't know.
Yeah.
And so that means you have to really try to get it, because it's not like a shame if you don't know, because as I tell them, why are you in the class if you knew everything? And so if you don't know, here's how to help you identify it. Here's what you do. Here's what you look at. But if I'm coming around the table and we're talking, that forces you to be engaged.
Pay attention. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That's a good strategy right there.
And I asked them, coaching, teaching, same thing. What does every coach say when you ask them? If you get the players to know that you care about them, then what? They'll go through the wall for you and play as hard for you as they can. And so I have a device that I use at the first class meeting where I say, hey, Joe, tell us where you're from, because SMU and people are from all over the country and all over the world. Mm-hmm. Where you from, and tell us 2 interesting things about yourself. And I start with me, but I say tell 2 interesting things about yourself. And people are like, I don't want to do it. No, just tell us 2 interesting. But I really go down a rabbit hole when you say, what's interesting about you. And so what that does to me is that allows you to connect with the student. And so I tell them my goal is to learn your name before the end of the first class. And part of that is I hear your story, your 2 interesting facts. I ask you a few questions about it because it's interesting. I told you, give me 2 interesting things about you.
Well, that makes you a better, not only is it better in the classroom as a student, it makes you a better people person. Because even though I've been in the Army and I've been on a job where your uniform has your name on it, I know that the supply sergeant, his son plays soccer, and his daughter does karate. And he likes the Cincinnati Bengals. So guess what? When I go talk to the supply sergeant, when can't nobody else get nothing, he gonna hook me up.
Yeah,
we gonna talk about soccer and karate and the Bengals.
Yes.
He's going to be like, what else do you need, bro? All right, I got this right here, da-da-da-da-da, what's going on? When he come to me, I'm good. The same thing. But you got to know a person before you look at their name tags. That's
yeah. And, when you know a person and they feel like you know about them and they feel like you care about them as a person, then they'll try. And I don't think that's, some great thing, but it's just my technique I use to try. Because at SMU, the semesters are like, 4 months, but my class is only once a week, and so I don't have a lot of time to bond, so I need to bond quickly so I can get the best out of them. And I've found out that really trying to get to know them through those 2 interesting facts allows you to get a bond with them and try to get the best out of them. But I like to teach in prospect. Like I was thinking about the other day. Because somebody was teaching their kid how to drive, and we were talking about it. They're like, "Oh, I hate it. I'm so nervous." And I was like, I taught both my kid, my son, and my granddaughter how to drive, and I really enjoyed the process because I felt like they were good drivers when I let them out on the streets. Like I wasn't nervous because I was like, okay, they've passed my personal test, and so I feel good about them driving. Did you teach your fellas, your kids how to drive?
No. My wife, man, she got the patience of Job because she's still married to me. But she taught all of them to drive on their own time. Different people didn't want to drive than other people did, but she taught them all. I just made them better. Like she taught them around the city. Like my youngest son used to press that brake like he was kicking a football. And I can only take that a couple of times. And I know I took my daughter to drive at the school.
Right.
And I remember her going around the curb And we was all laughing because we didn't want to, but she went around the curb and the wheels, she rubbed the damn white off the white walls of the reels. She rubbed like that. I said, I don't think you're supposed to do it like that. But my wife taught them all, and then I took them on the highway. Yeah, we drive from here to Stephenville, which is about maybe 2 hours, an hour. It's an hour and a half, and we get on the highway and get some barbecue and drive back. Pretty soon I had my daughter driving. If I had a new route, like DeSoto and all that, I had 6 stops in DeSoto. We'd drive around there so I know what the route is and all of that stuff. And so, yeah, I taught them how to get better, but she taught them. I ain't like that.
I taught them how to drive in the subdivision, meaning you couldn't lead. When we got in the car, we started driving. It was, let's just drive around the subdivision. And you couldn't leave the subdivision until you had mastered how to make a tight turn, because, subdivision ain't nothing but a series of blocks with stop signs. So you got to stop and pull your car to the front of the stop sign, let it rock once, then make that slow turn. Yeah. And, how to go up a hill. I mean, it was, it was a really good
The one you lived in, I was going to say, it had hills and everything.
No, it was great for teaching you how to drive. And I remember my son, he probably stayed in the subdivision for about a month before then we could get out to the streets. And then I remember he was on the streets. He was doing pretty good. And we had to go to Longview for something. And I was like, we were driving. I pulled over after about 15 minutes. I said, you know what, man? Longview is really just a straight shot down the highway. You drive, because you don't have to do a lot of thinking. It's just good to get on this highway and feel the highway. And so he drove pretty good, and he probably had it all ready to go by himself after about 3 or 4 months. And he's been a pretty good driver since then. And my granddaughter, she took about twice as long in the subdivision. But once she got out the subdivision, she was ready to go then. So, but again, it was a process. And because I could understand the process, I actually had a lot of patience with it. And I just understood you can't leave the subdivision till you master these things. And as long as it take you to master them, it's as long as it take you to master them, because I don't want to be out here worried in the streets because you're a sorry driver.
Yeah. I taught them kids Smith system, which is always aim high and steering, keep your eyes moving, leave yourself out, make sure they see you. And the Army teaches that, and then we learn that again at my job. So now the part I never focused on was leave yourself out. That's a pretty good thing to teach. I used to teach them always. I said it's a constant looking straight ahead, and always knowing who's beside you and who's behind you. Yeah. Because if you know who's beside you and behind you, when they disappear in your blind spot, okay, where did red car go? Well, we used to call that riding. When I rode a motorcycle, we used to call that riding in the pocket. Staying in the pocket, keeping keeping distance around you and other cars. That's called staying in the pocket. Yeah. So when you know that, I feel good. Like nothing can surprise you, because you always know there's a couple cars around here. Where are they? If you don't see them. Oh, yeah. So, you're on a bike, you're going to know that. You never saw my bike, did you? No, we're going to talk about that next week. That's a good topic, because I wanted a motorcycle so bad, I was just scared I was going to die on one. Oh, yeah. I got a good motorcycle story. No, I've been wanting a motorcycle forever. And then I wanted a Spider, but I thought I just couldn't see myself on a 3-wheel motorcycle, even though it was cool and it just didn't feel right. I got you. Yeah, I got you. Include the Spider too. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about motorcycles next week. I like that. Yeah. So that's our trip around the block this week. Why I love teaching. Joe's got some teaching stories. That was cool. Remember, you can always pick up my book. I showed it to my students yesterday, so they knew I wasn't capping. I did write a book. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, and the Making a Men. On YouTube. No, you can't find it on YouTube, but you can find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, Walmart.com, Target.com, wherever you find books at, you can find it. All you got to type in literally is Coach Prime book. It pops up, easy to find. Remember, you want these tickets to the Mavericks, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jacques Talk.
leave a comment, leave a review, and that'll get you registered for the tickets. We'll do the drawing on Valentine's Day. Follow us on IG at The Real Jacques Talk, and you can find me on Twitter, JJT Journalist. I am Jean-Jacques Taylor. For Big Joe and the Big Rig, we appreciate you. Until we chat again, you guys be blessed. And don't forget, none of this is possible without our friends at Greening Law, who sponsor this show, and Smoky John's Barbecue, 1820 West Mockingbird.